Ophelia will be going out today. I want to spend the day with you, and I want us to get to know each other better, Alexander said. Finally, Ophelia retorted. I hear you have a new maid. Please let her know that you can never be available for her to chat with her all the time, he said with a crooked smile playing at the corner of his lips. Alexander, you don't have any right to stop me from having friends. If I choose to have a friend, then it's my choice, not yours to make. So quit trying to control me. I chose to chat with Cordelia. If I choose to chat with Cordelia, it's my choice. I'm an independent woman, do you hear me? Ophelia, don't provoke me. If you provoke me, I'll stay in this room with you today. I will lock us in. I would do what we did not do, so maybe when I knock you up you probably need a friend in Cordelia, Alexander said with a laugh. Does everything with you have to end up in the bedroom? Can't you talk without situating everything you say around the bedroom area? What is it with you? You seem to be fixated. Get your mind out of the gutter. Who wants you? If you try to lock me up here, I'll find my way out. Don't threaten me, Alexander, Ophelia yelled. Ophelia, you seem to forget I said you and I are in this thing forever. You cannot run anywhere. You cannot go far from me. I repeat, you cannot go far from me, Ophelia. Your blood runs in my veins, Alexander responded. She turned to look at him. Are you telling me you're a vampire now? Let me know, so I will know how to make a quick dash for it. You mean you want to take my blood? Ophelia said with fear creeping in her heart from what she had just heard. He knew it was a misunderstanding, but he was ready to take it the long way. I want to take more than your blood. Would you like me to start counting the things I want to take when it comes to you? He said, chuckling. Ophelia used her 2 palms to cover her ears. She sat on the chair, refusing to listen to him anymore. What kind of man is this? What are all these innuendos he's passing across? What is he trying to do to me? And I don't understand why my body reacts this way towards him. Alexander's voice broke through her thoughts. I see the moment I said take. I could see your peaks tighten through your clothes, Alexander pointed out. Quickly, she looked down. Seeing them, she crossed her arms over them. Alexander laughed in response to her reaction and went into the bathroom to take a shower. He showered, towel dried, and came out dressed to kill. As soon as he came out, Ophelia ran into the bathroom, locking it behind her just in case he was going to follow her. She showered and towel dried, then went straight into her walk-in closet to change. She wore one of her ordinary dresses and went out. The response of Alexander shocked her. No, get back in there and change that outfit. You are Alexander Prescott's wife. Dress like one. I thought Cynthia had taken you out for shopping. Please pick one of those. Thank you, Mrs. Prescott, he said. She came out in a red dress. It was beautiful, custom made for her by Versace. She had her black clutch purse in her hands and her black-heeled sandals on her feet. She wore a set of diamond earrings, a chain with diamond pendants, and bracelets made of diamonds on her hands. Now you're looking like Mrs. Prescott. Come, let's go out, he said, inviting her to wrap her arms around his as they walked out. Ophelia shook her head at him. I'm sure, Alexander. You think you have me where you want me. I hope you know you haven't. No, I know I have you where I want you. I told you that very shortly you'll beg me to kiss you. You know I gave you a sample of it that night, and it was heavenly. Through the night I couldn't sleep a wink. I kept remembering the softness of your lips. She willed herself to shut his voice out of her head as they rode the elevator down. His driver was ready, the engine was on, and Alexander opened the door for her. She entered and sat down. He shut the door and went around to sit next to her. Drive, Alexander ordered the driver. Ophelia looked at him. So where are we going now? I want you to pick. Do you want us to go to that lounge you went to the other time and got drunk? Why do you enjoy reminding me of my faux pas? She fumed, almost crying. No, that's not my intention. I'm sorry. Okay, Hyatt Regency, Alexander announced to the driver. All right, sir, the driver replied. As the car moved, Alexander tried to hold her hand, but she pulled it away. So I can't touch your hand? Why can't I touch your hand? Does it send shivers down your spine? Oh. If you feel like touching me, touch me. I'm all yours, Ophelia. I'm here for you. Mr. Husband, I still do not know you. I'm not going to gloss over the fact that I don't know you. Who are you? Until you tell me who you are, there can never be anything between us as husband and wife, Ophelia said, stressing the last point. So can I make a bet with you that before this night is over, I will have kissed you at least 3 times? Alexander said. She turned immediately to look at his face. In your dreams. All right, let the games begin, he said with an evil glint in his eyes. They arrived and the car stopped. Alexander came down, stopping the driver from coming to open the door for his wife so that he could do it himself. Once he did, they held hands as they walked into the Hyatt Regency. There was a show happening that night at the poolside, and he wanted to see if it was to her liking. They went to the poolside, where a lot of people were sitting, a glittering assemblage of people. One of the waiters recognized her husband and took him to a reserved table. As they sat down, she wanted to remove her hand from his, but he held hers tightly. Alexander, are you trying to stop my blood flow or break my bones? She whispered to him. I thought you called me a vampire. You shouldn't be surprised if I begin from this moment onward. She shook her head in disbelief at him. Performing was a ballet group who came to dance in London, so instead of the theater, they chose the Hyatt Regency to do their debut outing. Alexander, are you saying all these people are ballet lovers? She whispered, looking at his face. He looked at her, then at her eyes and lips, moving his head closer to her. It took her a while, but she pulled back. Yes, that is what it means, he responded. We are all ballet lovers. Don't you love ballet? Yes, but it's a very difficult dance, she responded. Well, for those who dance it, they will tell you that it's easy. For people like us, all we know to say is it's beautiful. As they sat, the waiter came to ask, Sir, what would you like to have tonight? Can you give us a bottle of Merlot? Alexander said, and in no time the waiter returned and served them. They were sipping. The dance they watched was so beautiful. The dancers did a good job. This is extraordinary, Ophelia said to her husband. Yes, I believe so too. Her heart was freeing his hands, and he kept clasping and unclasping. He held her and felt her warmth, leaning closer to her to lick her ear. As she giggled, he knew if he wanted her at that point in time, she would not say no to him, but he was biding his time. Instead, he didn't move too close. He just wanted her to come by herself to him. He had wanted her from the very beginning, from the day she gave her blood to him in that hospital to save his life. He had been told that she offered to give her blood to him without thinking twice, and since then he had been madly in love with Ophelia. Yet she never knew. But she would have to love him now, and she would love him at her own time, and he was willing to wait for her. He looked at her again, and this time she was the one who kissed his cheek. He looked at her and smiled. Don't you think, Mrs. Prescott, you're going too far? You're the one who is starting all of this. I thought you said not in your dreams. I guess you've been seeing me in your dreams then? Now you are kissing me. She blushed hard in response. Alexander found it refreshing to find a girl who blushed for him. When they had finished the show, Alexander took her into the restaurant of the Hyatt Regency, and they went to eat. He signaled the waiter who came with the menu. After making the order, in an instant, the food was brought to them. With every spoon that Alexander put in his mouth, he looked at Ophelia for a long time. He would eat and look at her, surprised she could not see the love he had for her or even the depth of it. Well, she'll come around very, very soon, he reassured himself. They finished eating and were satisfied. Is there anything else you want to do tonight? Yes, go to sleep. The wine got to me. All right, let's go then, he said. As they got out and came to the foyer of the hotel, their car was there with the engine running. Ophelia was puzzled. Alexander, does your driver never turn off the car? It seems as though the car is always on. He does. Really? Then how did he know we were coming? The moment we stood up, he saw us. Oh, I see, she responded. He led her to the car and opened the car door for her. Once she slid in, he went to his own side and sat beside her. As he left his palm open, she slipped her hand into his. Before long, her head had dropped on his shoulder, and she was fast asleep. By the time they got home, she was still asleep, so he carried her into the elevator, and they rode to their floor. He carried her inside, opened the door, and placed her on the bed, allowing her to sleep in her dress because he wouldn't be able to explain to her why he undressed her. So he left her that way. He undressed, showered, and wore his pajamas. He lay beside her, and before long, he was asleep as well. By the next morning, the sound of someone crying pitifully woke Alexander up. He got up to open the door. "Alex, see what your wife did to me yesterday. She beat me up. Look at my hand, I'm in so much pain." His sister wailed. "Are you saying Ophelia did this to you?" "Yes." "At what time?" 5 p.m. "Are you sure, Vicky?" "I am your sister, I wouldn't lie to you." "Okay, wait here, I'll go get her," Alexander said as he went to call his wife. "Ophelia!" he called. "Yes," Ophelia answered grudgingly as she stretched on the bed. "Come over here." She got up from the bed and went to where they stood, looking around and still feeling very sleepy. "Ophelia, look at me. Are you the one who did this to my sister?" he asked. "When?" she asked incredulously. 5 p.m. Her husband answered, studying her face. Ophelia looked incredulously. "By 5 p.m.? We were together. We were spending the day together, so how could I have done this? I came back in with Cordelia before 5 o'clock, and after that you were with me." She turned to her sister-in-law. "Vicky, why would you say I did this to you? What would be my reason? You've hated me ever since I came into this house. What is all this anyway? I didn't do it at all." Alex knew he had to get to the bottom of this. So he turned to his sister. "Meet my driver. Let him take you to the hospital." "Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you." Vicky responded. "What is this girl up to now?" he thought. He knew his sister well but didn't say anything. He went to his room, which had an inner room where nobody knew about. There he kept his monitors to watch the cameras he had put in the house. He rewound the footage from the day before and saw his sister hitting herself against the wall. "That's my sister, a psycho. Now why would anybody go to these lengths in order to send someone out of a marriage? Why would she do that?" "Okay, I know what to do," he said to himself.